The smartest minds you will ever meet are often the most silently, completely exhausted ones.
It is 2 a.m. and nothing went wrong, yet the brain absolutely refuses to stop.
They replay conversations that ended hours ago, searching for something they cannot even name just yet. They prepare for situations that may never arrive, mapping every road before taking a single step forward. What if this happens? What if that fails? Clang flee. The question never stops, never rests, never ends.
The very quality that makes them thoughtful and aware is the same force silently draining them completely inside. The strength that builds their empathy is the exact same weight that slowly breaks them down inside. Psychologists call this maladaptive rumination, the mind circling the same thought endlessly without resolution.
Their brain is not weak. No, it is exceptional at patterns, always scanning every signal for hidden meaning.
The intelligence is never the problem, Faye. The system simply never receives any signal to power down.
The prefrontal cortex stays highly active even during rest, planning and analyzing when the body desperately needs silence.
Even in rest, the default mode network keeps generating a relentless internal commentary that never truly stops.
The mind is essentially always switched on, always reviewing, already drafting answers to unspoken questions ahead. For most overthinkers, this pattern takes root in childhood, inside homes where outcomes felt dangerously unpredictable every day.
Think ahead. Anticipate everything at sea. If you can predict what is coming, maybe you can finally protect yourself. Overthinking is not a flaw, guys. It is a smart nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do.
Psychologists identify two types: reflective rumination that builds strength, and brooding that slowly costs everything.
Disrupted sleep, decision paralysis, social anxiety building quietly determined. This is where overthinking begins to cost you everything real.
A single moment of healthy reflection can slide almost invisibly into a spiral mania, and you never even notice.
The brain releases dopamine during problem solving, even imagined problem solving, rewarding the act of just thinking. When an overthinker runs through every scenario mentally, the brain rewards the thinking itself, not the answer found.
Telling someone to just stop thinking is neurologically naive. The brain has a chemical reason to continue.
A 2013 study in psychological science revealed something about overthinkers that almost nobody would ever expect to find.
People who ruminate score significantly higher on cognitive empathy, sensing exactly how others think and feel around them. They are more attuned to social nuance, more aware of how words land, more sensitive to unspoken emotional weight. The very engine that makes overthinking exhausting is also what makes these people remarkably and deeply perceptive.
The more they think, the further clarity drifts. Perception without resolution is the heaviest thing to carry.
Some things must be felt, decided, or simply released. That the mind cannot think its way out of everything alone. Therapists focus not on silencing the thoughts, but on changing the person's entire relationship with what they think.
Cognitive diffusion teaches you to observe the thought loop from outside, without being pulled into it and consumed completely.
Instead of "this is dangerous," the reframe becomes "tway. My brain is simply generating a concern right now, nothing more." One thought pulls you in completely. The other gives you just a fraction of distance to finally breathe. Overthinking is not a character flaw, maybe. It is a highly active mind that learned to stay alert in uncertainty.
The challenge is not to stop thinking entirely per se. It is to teach that mind gently that it is finally safe to rest.
With patience and compassion, even the most restless mind can finally learn that it is safe enough to rest.
We all carry cognitive patterns shaped by experiences we never once chose. This is what makes us deeply human.
Understanding your patterns does not erase them some, but it loosens their grip and changes how much power they hold.
Sometimes that understanding alone is exactly where everything in your life begins to genuinely shift forever.
The most exhausted minds carry the deepest hearts, and understanding that truth is always where healing truly begins.
The overthinker sees themselves clearly, yet understanding yourself and escaping yourself are two very different things entirely.
There are nights when the mind does not race. It simply sinks under the weight of everything unsaid.
Every unresolved thought becomes another block in the tower, until the weight of it all becomes completely impossible to carry. You cannot outrun your own mind, and the faster you run from it, the closer it stays right behind you always.
The goal is never to empty the mind. It is to stop being imprisoned by every single thought that arrives.
Some emotions are not meant to be solved despite. They are meant to be stood in, felt fully, and then released completely. Sensitivity is not weakness, no. It is the mark of a mind and heart that have learned to feel everything more deeply. Even from the deepest pit of mental exhaustion, the light above never fully disappears around. It simply waits patiently. Writing the thought down removes it from the loop, giving the exhausted mind one less circle to keep running.
The overthinker lives between two selves, the one the world sees and the one that never stops thinking inside.
When thoughts outweigh everything else in life, the balance breaks hurrying, and finding level ground becomes the entire daily struggle. Coming back to the body breaks the thought loop. The heartbeat is always here, always now, always real. Understanding your own mind gives you the rare power to help others understand what they are silently going through too.
Awareness is the key that opens the door, not to silence the mind, but to finally stop fearing it.
Sometimes the overthinker just needs to sit at the edge of everything and remember they are still completely here.
The mind that thinks too much deserves the same compassion it gives everyone else frail.
Healing is not a single moment, Paler. It is a small daily choice to plant something new instead of feeding the old loop. Every morning is a new signal to the brain, and you made it through the night, and you are still standing here. If you recognize yourself in any of this, know that your mind is not broken. It is simply tired and needs rest. And sometimes, that understanding alone is exactly where everything begins. One thought,